generations. Do I ever plan on having any backstory for them? Stuff like young Ebenezer or, the Bob Adventures. Bob Tales. The only thing I have in mind is I've got a project in mind where I might write the history of the French and Indian War in the Dresden Files universe. Back when all the people who were on the senior council who can't stand Harry because he's a young hothead getting into trouble were young hotheads getting into trouble. I think that would be a lot of fun to do. I just have to bone up on my French and Indian War stuff to be able to do it, and so far I haven't had time yet. Right here.
Is Lashiel going to make a comeback?
Is Lashiel going to make a comeback?
Because her coin is still buried in the lab, right?
Yeah, is Lashiel going to make a comeback? Her coin isn't in the lab anymore. But is she going to make a comeback? Her story's not yet over. However, both Lashiel and Lash appeared in Ghost Story, though not under those names. Right here.
With the publication of the Dresden Files RPG, what is it like to turn your world over to all of your fellow nerds who love it so much?
Okay, with the publication of the Dresden Files RPG, what is it like to turn over my world to all to my fellow nerds to play with who love it so much? Awesome. It is awesome. Because I've run it. Sadly, I'm the one person who can't play the RPG. Try to imagine being my DM, really. Yes, it is that way, and if necessary, I'll write it that way in the next one. Well, you give me that +2 bonus. But then, if I'm the GM, too much like work. But everybody else having a good time, which makes me very happy. That was kind of the point of the books to begin with. I'm trying to get some folks who haven't got yet. With the goatee and glasses.
Something like that began in book 4 when he first got mingled up with the man, it's still being carried out 10 books later. What I'm wondering is there any character or any event that seems insignificant that is going to become important in the near future?
Okay, he says, given that I've planned out so many things and there are so many stories where actions have consequences that are played out in the course of the series, are there any seemingly insignificant actions that are going to be played out later on? Yes, there are. Like a bunch of them. But we'll see. I'm still working out how to get them all fit in. The next 6 books are going to be very, very busy. 6 or 7 or 8 or however many it takes. Go ahead.
Write faster?
Technically, write faster is not a question. I'm just reminding you of the format here. We have to respect it.
Because we only get books once a year, the big books, do you have any plans for things like backup or something to help keep us so we don't fly our minds?
Okay, since they only get books once a year, do I have anything planned like backup to help you cope?
Withdrawal.
Normally, there's a lot of story projects that are going on the side. Right now I'm writing a trilogy of short stories that I'm calling the Bigfoot trilogy. Bigfoot's the client. There's issues with this kid, and he can't exactly walk into town and take care of him, so he's got to find somebody to help out. But I'm going to continue to do short story projects on the side. I've outlined a new graphic novel, which I'm going to be working on with Mark Powers. And but you also remember that I've got to get a break from that tall geeky loser once in a while, or I'll just kill him. But it's great for me to. I always love it when I get to start something else because I go, oh, I'm so sick of that loser Harry Dresden at this point, and then I'll start writing something else, and then by the time I get done with that, I'll go back to Harry and be like, oh, it's glad to be back in the saddle with Harry because this feels easy, And I'm dumb enough, I forget. It gets hard at the end. Oh, right here.
How much time has passed approximately since Stormfront?
How much time has passed approximately since Stormfront? I could go check the Wikipedia. I'm trying to make it more or less real time. So I think it averages out to about a year between each. Some of them are a little bit more, some of them are a little bit less. But I try and make it real time, sort of like Joss did with Buffy.
Sorry.
Who are your favorite writers?
What's that?
Who are your favorite
My
writers?
favorite writers. This is a question that I always hate because I'll start on them and then I'll remember half an hour later somebody I should have mentioned and didn't. Let's see. Robert B. Parker is probably my single favoriteest writer. I'll read anything he wrote. I've still got the last Spencer book he wrote, which I won't read because then there won't be any more Spencer books to read, and that's sad. But I've got it. Robert B. Parker's pretty good. Let's see. Lately, there's Rothfuss, that jerk. I just can't stand Rothfuss. He can write such beautiful, lyrical, poetic lines, and in one, and then shift gears and be writing this short, choppy, pulp action style fiction, and just do it so smoothly you can't even tell what's going on. It's like, ooh, I hate that. Let's see, Scalzi's brilliant. John Scalzi he's amazing. He really is. I've been reading Brandon Sanderson lately. Picked up Way of Kings and was like, oh, that is so cool. Oh, I just love the fantasy world where either you're a guy with a knife on the end of a stick and a leather jacket, or you've got Iron Man armor and a lightsaber. You know? Just that dichotomy is awesome. Let me think who else I've been reading lately. Harry Connolly's books. I don't know if you've read Harry Connolly's first book's called Child of Fire. It's really good. There's a new guy coming out. He's British. His name is Benedict Jacka. His first book is called Fated. It's a wizard book. It's really excellent. He's got a great imagination. I read the Temeraire books. I read the Honor Harrington series. I mean, there's again now I'm blanking. Pretty much anything Glenn Cook does, I like. But there's a sample right over here.
Two quick questions then. One then, since continuing on what you said, are there any particular characters who kind of inform Harry's voice? And you mentioned Glenn Cook. I only have read the first Garage book, but it seems the same kind of personality. And then the second question is, can you tell us the first line of Cold Days?
Okay. Question one, are there any characters in particular who inform Harry's voice? He's noticed that characters like Garrett are very similar in terms of how their outlook on life and so on. I would say that yeah, and the characters that inform him are folks like Dashiell Hammett's lead characters, Sam Spade, or is that Ray Chandler? I'm getting confused now. I think Dashiell Hammett had Sam Spade. Ray Chandler's characters as well. Of course, Robert Parker Spencer is seminal as far as I'm concerned. I wish I could have Harry be as snarky as Spencer. But yeah, I mean, he's informed by a lot of things, and also just kind of by the hard-boiled genre in general. As far as the first line of Cold Days, yeah, Mab, Queen of Air and Darkness, has unique ideas about physical therapy. See, first sentence is done. The rest is just typing. We're gonna go a couple more, and then we're gonna cut this off and get everybody's book signed. So I don't want to keep people out all night. Let's go right here first.
Now that Harry's died, the whole die alone death curse, is that over and spent, or is there going to be more to that?
Now that Harry's died, the whole die alone death curse, is that over? Was he not dead enough? Yeah, he got out from under that one. Sort of. It remains to be seen if he's going to get out from under the rest of it, which I'm having a very good time plotting out. And over here.
Is Maggie going to start playing a bigger role?
Is Maggie going to start playing a bigger role? She's like 7. Yeah, 7-year-olds. You're 7-year-olds. You're lucky if their big role isn't falling off the monkey bars and getting a broken arm, like mine did when he was 7. But on the other hand, if I'm ever done with the Dresden Files and it's like I've got to pay off my gambling debts or something. Yeah, I suppose I could always do Dresden the Next Generation with Maggie. Although she'd probably think Dad was a little soft. Okay, last one. Baseball hat.
When do we get to see Fairfax again?
When we get to see Fairfax again? Fair question. It probably won't be till one of the last of the Case Files. If not in the big epic trilogy. So no, because Fairfax was on his best behavior at that party, and the next time he's got an excuse to smack Dresden, somebody's going to throw down. And, we'll have a good time with that. Okay, guys, thank you very much for putting up with me.